Okay, welcome back to the Adventure Within channel. My name is Andrew Fritz. I'm a clairvoyant, healer, and meditation teacher. And in this video, I'd like to talk about the soul perspective on incarnating, taking a body or having a body life. And I want to talk about that because sometimes I don't think we fully understand that perspective. That, because when we're down here, sometimes the experience can be kind of rough. And I'm sure we've heard that you may have found yourself saying this or heard other spiritual people say this, where it's like, oh God, this is, get me out of here. This is my last lifetime. I'm not coming back. And yeah, for some people that say that, that might be very true. And then for others, it might just be resistance. Like it's just, oh, this is not, I don't like this. This isn't going well. Get me out of here. I'm never coming back kind of thing. It's kind of like when you have, there's a job that's just like it sucks, and you're just like, I'm quitting. I'm never coming back here. Or, you're kind of in a toxic or kind of lousy relationship, and I'm never going back to that or seeing that person again or whatever. It can feel that way with with your relationship to the planet and having a body life here. And I don't really see that we're here, we're meant to suffer. It's something that we all kind of experience. And I think it's a matter of this is the beauty of really meditation and turning on your psychic or soul ability so that you can really heal yourself and see beyond the lies, the limits, and illusions and see more of your truth and really start to embrace that. A spirit where, it's not effort. We have our freedom, there's power, and how do we have that here and experience that while we have a body and a body life? How do we experience that here? And that's kind of this bridging of heaven and earth. And it's kind of like basically the opposite of what most people want to do is just, avoidance or just get me out of here. I don't want anything to do with this kind of thing. And it's what we're really probably needing is the opposite of that is making our way back to our body to be more in sync, to be more in present time. Our body's always in present time. As spirit, we can kind of be anywhere. And sometimes we remove ourselves and our energy out of our body because may have certain things that we've experienced that were traumatic and whoa, I can't really handle this. And so then it becomes this journey of coming back and integrating more of ourselves and our energy and all that. And it's a challenging, really challenging process to be on your spiritual path and to face down all the unconscious energy and the pain and the lower dense energies that, unresolved memories that you're aware of or unconscious of. And that's just, we're just talking about this lifetime, right? And then there's all your different past lives. There's certain things that maybe that aren't really fully resolved from various past lives. And so we're working through all this so that we can be more fully here. And that's a tall that's a tall order. That's a tall ask. And it's a process. And oh, no wonder is why it probably takes us so so many lifetimes. Probably till we reach a point where we can go, oh, okay, really, now this is really my last lifetime. And maybe not feeling like we have to leave on bad terms. Like it's just get me out of here, and I want to get out. I don't want to be in this anymore. Whereas if you really come back and fully ground, it's interesting because sometimes grounding your relationship with the planet, I find that where it can seem like getting more grounded is, oh God, this is terrible. Actually, I find that that's you get to have a lot more fun when you're more grounded and you get to have more and um, you get to be more present and kind of involved in your life down here as opposed to just kind of sitting in the bleachers and just kind of, just kind of watching life kind of go by. And so the sole perspective is that, you know, if you don't have a body and you're kind of like, as just in spirit and you're kind of ready for, okay, I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready to set up a lifetime. It's quite exciting actually. It's not something that's kind of all doom and gloom. It's this is an opportunity to grow and evolve and change. This is where all the growing and changing happens. Um, yeah, can you learn things out on the astral and all that? Yeah, but really when you have a body life, this is when you're through all the trial and error and all the many experiences that you have, this is where you grow and change. Your experiences, you have an experience or multiple experiences, and you learn something from that. You gain some sort of understanding, and it turns into wisdom. And that's what we're doing here is we're lifetime after lifetime just becoming, we're waking up more to the truth and healing ourselves, restoring ourselves back to wholeness, and becoming wiser and wiser and wiser until the point where we fully know ourselves. And it's that's the funny thing is that, wouldn't it be nice in school, in college, that there was a major for studying yourself? And that sounds kind of weird, but that's, and from my perspective, kind of what we're the higher level of purpose, what we're here to do. We each might have our own kind of unique mission for each lifetime as we're here, but the kind of the bigger purpose for us all is that we're learning about ourselves and remembering who we truly are and where we originated. And yeah, wouldn't that be cool if there was actually a major where you got to explore, consciousness and doing that through a sense of meditation, that it's not this intellectual endeavor where, oh, I'm going to read books and I'm going to look, do it that way. That's a way to kind of kick things off, I guess. But you have to have you have to experience it. You have to have these inner experiences. Otherwise, it is just kind of an intellectual theory and all that. And that's why, when it comes to talking about spirituality, yeah, it's nice initially, but at the end of the day, someone that, is skeptical or maybe someone that's just kind of curious and yeah, they have to really experience it themselves and experience it numerous times until they're going to go, oh, okay, this is what this is, or oh, wow, this is really real. And then you continue down your path. And then some people just aren't ready for that or not there. And but eventually that's what we're all working towards and there's a lot more people on the planet now that are actually interested in spirituality. You can just look at YouTube and the podcast. There's more people talking about mediumship and psychic abilities and consciousness and lucid dreaming and out of body experiences. There's a lot more interest, and it's more out there, um, kind of in almost like a mainstream way. So that's exciting, and we still have a long way to go. Um, because when I first, my early 20s, when I kind of had my spiritual awakening, you think that would be, well, oh, okay, well, that's it. You're awake and that's it. I'm aware I'm spirit. I'm not my physical body. But for me, that was just the beginning. I was kind of already out of my body. And it was funny because once I got into spirituality and woke up, and I was trying to have out of body experiences, not really realizing that I was already kind of disconnected. And so for me, it was as definitely was a journey of bringing more of my energy and myself kind of in my own space and my own syncing up more with my body. And then that's where, things start to shift. If your energy's kind of parked out and you're kind of disconnected a bit, what is your body life going to be like? This incarnation, your experiences. Um, Again, it can kind of seem like you're just kind of on the sidelines, kind of watching. Whereas, you start to get more grounded and present. It's like, oh, okay, now you're on the field. You're a part of the game. You're in the play. And that could be really exciting. That's kind of, I think, what we're really here for, is to have these really rich and dynamic and different type of experiences so that we can grow and evolve and change and kind of, elevate our consciousness. Um, and so, yeah, I just thought that I'd bring this up because that's sometimes there's this real, doom and gloom about having to be here and wow, this sucks and I don't want to come back here and all that. And that's sometimes we as spiritual beings, we might take a break. We might go and say, "Hey, I need a little I need a little bit of a break from planet Earth. I'm going to go incarnate on another planet, or I'm just going to hang in spirit here for a while." Um, and then you might come back and you just kind of continue this journey, um the evolutionary process where we kind of as souls typically start when we start incarnating, especially on this planet, in that kind of atheist state, and we kind of go all through this big journey, um, eventually learning to turn within, and it becomes getting more interested in spirituality. And this is lifetime after lifetime after lifetime until we are fully enlightened, and if we are fully aware of who we are as spirit and all that, and then we don't have to come back, but we can come back. I've heard people say that, when you're fully done here and you're ascended, you can't come back, and I just don't see that from a clairvoyant perspective. I see that, yeah, you're freed up in a way that you don't have to return, but you can return. And I've been meaning to make a video on this. I kind of want to explore more of the topic of, well, what happens when you ascend? When you're fully enlightened and you can finally ascend and just kind of be done here and graduate this Earth system, so to speak, however you want to call it, then what? And perhaps there's an array of opportunities and possibilities. It's limitless, right? But that's an interesting topic to me to explore. So I'll try to make a video about that. But hopefully this is kind of helpful because I know when I started getting the spirituality, I was it's great because you start waking up. Um, but it's still kind of difficult. For me, I was very lost and depressed and kind of confused, and so the spiritual awakening was great, but I'm still kind of in all those energies, lower kind of negative energies, and it took a while to kind of work through a lot of that. Doesn't mean I don't experience, lower emotions here and there. Absolutely. But I don't have to stay in that. I can pull myself out of it instead of it being this consistent, like, oh, this is, very depressing. But yeah, I think sometimes we tend to have that thought cross our mind that, oh my God, this place sucks, and it just seems like we're just suffering, and what the hell is the point to all this? And but I think if you start to meditate, turn your abilities on, learning to heal yourself, and starting to see who you really are, that's an amazing thing. And start seeing your truth, and then the more you certain you get about your truth, and you can start to choose that and allow your energy and your essence and your truth to set the tone. And over time, your reality, or like one aspect or multiple aspects of your life, start to shift and change. And then it's not so much this life sucks kind of thing. It's like, wow, this is kind of exciting. This is actually fun. And then you're kind of just the way, before you incarnated, you just were in spirit and you're thinking about taking a body and setting the life up and all that. It is very exciting. You want to come down here so that you can have these experiences, so you can evolve, um, so that you don't have to so you get to the point where you don't have to come back, or you have the freedom to. Um, but yeah, you have that. There's a sense of excitement, I think, from that soul perspective. And when you're down here and you're doing your healing work and becoming aware of your truth, then and your life starts to change down here, then it is exciting. Then it's just like, yeah, sure, life can, it ebbs and flows, and there's challenges, but it doesn't suck because you've done healing work and you're aware of yourself more, and there's more of an integration in this bridging of heaven and earth. And oh, okay, life, yeah, you start to clear through that life sucks kind of picture, and maybe life ain't so bad down here, and it can be fun or exciting or whatever it is how you want it to be. Um, and that's another thing is even if life is going great and then suddenly, whoa, here's a curveball, and you get to learn from those curveballs. It's just we're always going to have reactions, right? And this is one of the hardest things I think for myself, and I'm sure a lot of people. We all have reactions. You can't stop the reaction, whatever reaction you're having to whatever in life. But you definitely can pause and kind of center yourself. It's kind of like being in the eye of a hurricane. And you can pause for a moment and then just kind of let the reaction just kind of be as it is. It might slowly fizzle out when you're more grounded and kind of center yourself in meditation. And then you can kind of choose how you want to move forward. I'm sure you've been in situations or you've seen other people in situations where, they just embrace the reaction and they ride that out. And sometimes it gets kind of ugly or maybe poor decisions were made. I've experienced this many times. And so if you learn to pause and then you go, okay, how do I want to handle this now? And you find that when you ground and you center yourself, you're kind of in that eye of the hurricane kind of state. It's while you might be going through a challenging moment, um, it's not as bad or as big of a deal as it maybe was um, now that you're finally grounded and centered. Because when you're ungrounded and not centered, and you're just, the lighter fluid to the fire, the reaction, it just gets worse and worse and worse. We've all seen this. More resistance and more anger, and it just grows and grows. And um, but if you can kind of pull back and just pause and let the reactions kind of just take their course and fizzle out, and then okay, how do I want to proceed? And I think that's one of the trickiest things, but I think that's a really important thing to be aware of and to practice and to master. And that is something I'm I'm for sure working on. So um, anyway, hopefully this video was entertaining or interesting or insightful in some way. Feel free to share your comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.